Welcome to my channel. Let me take you back to the exact millisecond my entire existence rewired itself, where the sterile hum of fluorescent lights overhead, the sharp sting of antiseptic saturating the air, and the unforgiving cold bite of a steel examination table beneath my bare back became the opening notes to a symphony of transformation I never auditioned for but can never ever undo. It was Wednesday, March 22nd for 17 p.m. on the dot, the final day of spring break at Caltech's off-campus biotech research facility tucked into a nondescript industrial park in Pasadena. I was 21, a junior in biomedical engineering with a perfect 4.0 GPA, 6 feet 1 inch tall, 185 pounds of lean climber's muscle sculpted from weekend bouldering trips to Joshua Tree and Yosemite, and currently strapped to a medical gurney in nothing but paper-thin hospital-issue shorts because I'd lost a spectacularly stupid bet to my lab partner, Dr. Naomi Chen. "Alex," she said, her voice calm as a surgeon's scalpel gliding through tissue, gloved hands meticulously adjusting in 4-drip bag that glowed a faint, ethereal blue under the surgical LED lights. "You're absolutely 100% sure about this? Last chance to back out. No hard feelings." I laughed, nervous, cocky, the way only a college kid with zero impulse control, an ego the size of the Pacific Ocean, and a misplaced sense of invincibility can. "It's just a prototype nanite trial, right? Boost metabolism by 20%, enhance muscle recovery for post-climb soreness, maybe tack on a few IQ points so I can finally beat you at chess. Worst case, I puke neon green for a week and write a hilarious Reddit post that gets me internet famous." She didn't laugh. Her dark almond eyes, magnified behind sleek tortoiseshell glasses, flicked to the wall-mounted monitor tracking my vitals in real time. "Worst case," she said, voice dropping to a whisper that barely disturbed the sterile silence. "The swarm reprograms your endocrine system at the genomic level. Permanently. Bone structure remodeling, hormone cascades, secondary sex characteristics, everything. You could wake up different." I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly strained something in my neck. "Relax, document." The consent form said minor cosmetic side effects in like size 8 font. "I'm in. Inject me before I change my mind and demand a rematch on that bet." The needle slid into the crook of my elbow with a cold, precise pinch. A river of liquid nitrogen raced up my vein, igniting every nerve ending in icy fire. The overhead lights blurred into swirling halos. My heartbeat thundered in my ears like a war drum. Then blackness swallowed me whole. I woke up 8 hours later in a sealed recovery pod, head pounding like I'd been hit by a freight train carrying regret, mouth tasting like copper pennies and cotton balls soaked in shame. Naomi stood over me, tablet glowing in the dim blue light, her usual pristine white lab coat swapped for teal scrubs, eyes wide with something between scientific awe and human terror. "Alex," she whispered, voice cracking for the first time in the 3 years I'd known her as the unflappable genius who'd already published in Nature at 26. "We need to talk. Now." She spun the tablet toward me. My vitals scrolled in real time like a horror movie. Heart rate 110 BPM and climbing, cortisol levels through the roof, estrogen spiking off the charts into triple digits, testosterone plummeting into single digits like a stock market crash. A 3D holographic body scan rotated slowly above the screen. Hips visibly wider by 2 inches, waist cinched inward, chest swelling with soft, rounded tissue that hadn't existed 12 hours ago. I bolted upright so fast the 4-line tugged painfully at my arm, sending a fresh jolt of cold fire. "What the hell did you do to me?" "The nanites," she said, swallowing hard, her throat bobbing under the scrub collar. "They didn't just optimize. They rewrote. Your Y chromosome is dormant. Suppressed at the epigenetic level. You're transitioning. Fast. Within days, not decades. Bone remodeling, fat redistribution, vocal cord thinning, the works." I laughed until I looked down. My chest, my flat climber's chest that had powered me up 5.12 routes without a single fall, had soft, rounded swells pushing against the paper gown like rising dough under a warm cloth. My hands flew to my face. Cheekbones higher and more pronounced, jawline softer and narrower, lips fuller and tingling with newfound sensitivity. I stumbled off the gurney, legs wobbling like a newborn foal on ice, and lurched to the full-length mirror bolted to the pod wall, nearly tripping over the 4 stand. The man staring back was gone. Erased. Deleted. In his place, a woman. Long auburn hair. Where the hell did that come from? cascading in loose, glossy waves past my shoulders, emerald green eyes framed by lashes that looked artificially thick and curled, porcelain skin glowing under the pod's blue lights like it had been airbrushed, curves that belonged on a Victoria's Secret runway or a Renaissance painting. I touched my reflection with trembling fingers that now looked slender and delicate. She touched back wide-eyed, lips parted in shock, a perfect stranger wearing my face like a mask. "Alexandra," Naomi said softly, stepping behind me, her reflection joining mine in the glass. "That's you now." "Alexa." I demanded reversal. Screamed it until my new voice cracked. Begged on my knees in the recovery pod. Threatened lawsuits, academic probation, calling the dean, the IRB, the FBI. Naomi just shook her head, tablet clutched to her chest like a shield, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "The swarm fused with your DNA at the cellular level. You know, trying to undo it would trigger systemic apoptosis. Your cells would self-destruct in a cascade. You'd be dead in hours, maybe minutes." I stormed out of the lab in scrubs 2 sizes too small, the fabric stretching taut across my new chest, breasts bouncing painfully with every furious step, hips swaying in a rhythm my brain hadn't authorized or learned. The Pasadena sunset bled orange and pink across the sky, but the world had tilted on its axis forever. Construction workers on a nearby site whistled and catcalled. A barista at the campus cafe called me ma'am, and handed me a free lavender latte, for the pretty lady with the killer legs. I locked myself in my single-occupancy dorm room, ripped off the scrubs with shaking hands, and stared at the stranger in the full-length mirror on the back of the door. 5 feet 8 inches now, 3 inches shorter than yesterday. 34C breasts, heavy and real, nipples darkening and hypersensitive. 26-inch waist that dipped inward like an hourglass. 38-inch hips that flared dramatically like a violin's curves. Legs for days, smooth and endless, calves sculpted from the bone remodeling. I cried until my new lashes clumped with mascara I hadn't even applied yet. Then I touched. Explored every inch with scientific curiosity and raw panic. The body responded, sensitive, electric, alive in ways I'd never known. Nipples hardened into peaks under my fingertips. A jolt shot straight to my core, unfamiliar and overwhelming. I gasped, legs buckling. The orgasm that followed was different. Deeper. Full body waves that left me trembling on the dorm carpet. I slept for 14 hours straight, cocooned in blankets that smelled like my old cologne and new lavender shampoo. I marched back to the lab at dawn, barefoot in oversized sweatpants that now pooled around my ankles, breasts tender and aching from overnight growth. "Fix me now." Naomi handed me a vanilla oat milk latte and a sleek black shopping bag from Nordstrom. "First clothes. You're spilling out of everything masculine." Inside, lace bras in nude and black with delicate scalloping high-waisted skinny jeans in dark wash, a silk emerald blouse that matched my eyes perfectly, and God help me 4-inch nude patent heels with a red sole. "You'll need support for the new center of gravity," she said, "and height. Your spine compressed slightly overnight." I changed in the staff bathroom, locking the door with a click that echoed like a gunshot. The bra hooked like a hug, lifting and separating in ways that made me dizzy with sensation. The jeans slid over hips that curved like a question mark, the denim hugging every inch. The blouse draped over breasts that felt heavy, real, mine, the silk cool against skin that tingled. The heels turned my walk into a runway. I teetered out of the bathroom, ankles wobbling like a drunk giraffe. Naomi filmed on her phone with clinical detachment. "For science," she lied, a smile tugging at her lips. I strutted down the lab corridor. The click of the heels echoed like applause off the tile floors. I begged the nanites, yes, begged on my knees in the shower while hot water cascaded over my changing body, to slow down, to give me time, to let me keep something of the old me. They didn't listen. My voice cracked mid-sentence during a Zoom lecture, then settled into a smoky alto that turned heads in the hallway and made professors do double takes. My Adam's apple vanished overnight, leaving a smooth column of throat. Hair grew an inch, thick and glossy, auburn waves that caught the light like liquid copper. I shaved my legs for the first time, the razor gliding over skin that was now smooth, endless, mine. Naomi took measurements with clinical precision in the lab's imaging suite. Bone density shifting to female norms. Pelvis widening for potential childbirth. Breast tissue at 34D now. "You're perfect." I punched the padded wall in frustration. My knuckles didn't even bruise, healing in minutes. I skipped classes. Curled under blankets that smelled like my old life and new lavender shampoo. Cried until my new lashes clumped and my eyes swelled. Ordered Thai food and ate an entire pint of mango sticky rice in one sitting, then threw it up from hormone swings. Then I masturbated 3 times in a row. The orgasms were different. Deeper. Full body waves that started in my core and radiated outward, leaving me trembling and gasping. I slept for 14 hours, woke up hungry. Not for food, for life, for control. I woke up ravenous for everything. I blow-dried my hair. How did I instinctively know how to section it into quadrants? Curled it into loose, beachy waves with a wand I didn't remember owning. Did makeup, winged liner sharp enough to cut glass. Red lips that plumped overnight. Contour like a pro from YouTube tutorials I'd bookmarked in a fugue state. The mirror smiled back, confident, radiant. Hi Alexa. The name fit like the jeans, like the heels, like the new me. I walked to campus in the emerald blouse, jeans and heels. Heads turned. Phones rose. A frat guy dropped his smoothie on the quad bricks. I smiled, the kind that reached my eyes. The heels clicked like applause on the pavement. A girl in my bioinformatics lecture asked for my highlighter shade and skincare routine. I gave her Naomi's lab email with a wink. Naomi fitted me with a sleek titanium smartwatch that synced with the swarm. The nanites are stabilizing. You're stronger, faster, healing in hours. And, she blushed crimson behind her glasses. Fertile. Ovulation starts in 48 hours. Full reproductive viability. I laughed, wild, free, the sound echoing off the lab walls. So I'm a superhero and a supermodel? Sign me up for the Avengers. She handed me a black Amex linked to the lab's discretionary fund. Buy whatever makes you feel you. No limits. I bought everything. Lace lingerie that made me gasp at my reflection in the dressing room mirror. Leather pencil skirts that hugged like a second skin. A little black dress that plunged and hugged every curve like it was painted on. Heels in every color, red bottoms, strappy sandals, knee-high boots that laced up the back. I learned to walk, then strut, then own every room. I climbed the same indoor rock wall at the gym, faster, stronger, fearless. My breasts bounced with every move, but I adapted, harness snug, chalk on my fingers. I topped out a 5.13 route in under 5 minutes. The belayers stared, slack-jawed. Dude, you're glowing. The lab hosted a closed-door symposium for venture capitalists and NIH reps. I walked in 5 feet 9 inches in crimson patent heels, auburn waves cascading down my back like a waterfall, emerald silk dress with a slit to there and a neckline that plunged. The room went silent. Then erupted in murmurs. Who's she? Dr. Chen's new assistant? Some influencer? I took the podium, voice velvet and steel, heels clicking like punctuation. Actually, I said, I'm the experiment. Subject 0. And I'm here to tell you the future of human augmentation starts now. Gasps. Then applause. A standing ovation that shook the rafters. Naomi cried in the front row, tears streaking her mascara. I glowed under the stage lights. I updated my legal ID, Alexa J. Read. Changed my major to bioethics and gender studies with a minor in fashion design. Started a support group for trans and non-binary students. Meetings in the quad under the jacaranda trees. Purple blossoms raining down like confetti. Dated a girl from the poetry slam, soft kisses under fairy lights, her hands gentle on my waist. Then a guy from the climbing gym, rough hands, gentle heart, calluses matching mine. Then both at once in a whirlwind of laughter and exploration. The body responded to touch like a symphony, every nerve ending singing in harmony. I published a paper in Nature Biotechnology, Self-Directed Genomic Reprogramming, a case study in rapid phenotypic transition via nanite swarm. It went viral within hours. TED Talk invites flooded my inbox, first MIT, then Oxford, then a global tour. I competed in my first figure competition, bikini round, abs carved from climber's core, glutes round and powerful, smile lethal under stage lights. I placed top 5. The trophy sits on my desk next to my old climbing chalk bag and a photo of the old me, faded but smiling. Naomi kissed me after a late-night lab session, her lips tasting like coffee and possibility, her hands trembling as they cupped my face. I didn't mean to fall, she whispered against my mouth, breath warm. I kissed back, fingers tangled in her dark hair, pulling her closer. You didn't fall. You built me. And I chose to stay. Every day. The nanites stabilized completely. I'm 5 feet 8 inches, 34-24-36, 128 pounds of curves and muscle. A perfect hourglass forged in a lab accident. I model for sustainable activewear brands, billboards in Times Square. I speak at the UN on ethical biotech and bodily autonomy. I climb 5.13s in sports bras and leggings fearless. I'm happy, fulfilled, whole. In love with Naomi, with my body, with the life I never planned but now can't imagine living without. The old Alex? A ghost in faded photos on my phone. A memory I visit sometimes with fondness and zero regret. The new Alexa? A goddess in the flesh. Living proof that sometimes the greatest experiment isn't in a lab under controlled conditions. It's in the mirror every morning when you choose to embrace the unknown. And if you're reading this, heart racing, palms sweaty, wondering what your body could become if you let go of fear and stepped into the future, trust me. The experiment isn't the nanites. The version of you the universe has been waiting to meet, shimmering just beneath the surface.